In this video, I will explain why Jermall Charlo and Jaime Munguia talks now collapse. It's a fight a lot of people, they were in my inbox, they were leaving me comments, letting me know they wanted to see, but why it looks like this fight may not be a green light after all. I'm gonna explain that in this video. To me, this is bad news. You gotta stick around to figure out the who, what, and the why. In this video, I'm gonna tell you what I know. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Before I get started in today's content, over the past 28 days, 50% of you have subscribed to my channel, so thank you. That means another 50% have not yet subscribed. I don't know if you forgot, it slipped your mind. The subscribe button is below. Hit the subscribe button, goes a long way. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people as well, so that could be the thing. So if it slipped your mind or whatever the case is, subscribe to the channel so I can continue putting out the fire content. And if you don't like it, you can always unsub. Now, you guys see it. ESPN, boxing sources, Jermall Charlo, Jaime Munguia collapse. The talks collapse due to fight rights and the broadcast rights in the U.S. Talks to match middleweight champion Jermall Charlo against Mexican star. I don't know if you can call him a Mexican star, but you know, I like Jaime Munguia, but that seemed like a little bit ad-libbing. July have collapsed over the U.S. broadcast platform, sources tell ESPN. Charlo aligned with Al Haymon's PBC, Munguia promoted by Oscar, De La Hoya, Golden Boy, blah, blah, blah. They agreed on the financial terms, sources said. So the boxers, they like the financial package and they're like, I'll fight Charlo for that. And then Charlo's like, yeah, Lions only, keep running your mouth, keep running your mouth. I'll fight Munguia for that. So that usually, listen, I don't know everything, but I know what I know. And usually the biggest sticking point for big fights that fans want to see is none other than the financial package and compensation. And that's just like, look at a job. If you applied at Kmart and the job description, they're like, oh, we need you to sweep and mop. We want you to do custodial duties. And you're like, cool, bet. The sticking point will probably be, what is your salary? How much are they gonna pay you hourly? How often do you get paid? Is it monthly, bi-weekly? Those are usually the hardest things to. So if you're down to sweep and mop and, you know, clean up spills in the aisle and red light, blue light specials and all that, that's cool. But if they're like, oh, we're gonna give you $5 an hour, you're like, nah, I ain't doing it for that. I'll do it. I'll do the job. I could do it, but I ain't doing it for that. So this was not the case here. The fighters liked the fight and agreed. But in comes the drama. Showtime, one of PBC's two broadcast partners, along with Fox, was set to televise the pay-per-view. So it's going to be on pay-per-view. However, Golden Boy insisted that its partner DAZN be involved with the stateside telecast. PBC offered Golden Boy the TV rights in Mexico and in the UK, where DAZN is popular. However, Golden Boy officials didn't respond by noon. The deadline was Friday to close the deal, sources said. With the talks broken off, the WBC has ordered a purse bid for Munguia and Carlos Adames, who is with PBC, sources say. If Munguia wins, he'll become the mandatory challenger to Charlo. The rights to Charlo Munguia could be auctioned off later this year. In the interim, Charlo will fight someone else this summer on Showtime, sources said, his 5th consecutive fight on the platform. It's rare for championship level boxers to compete on different platforms, but it does happen occasionally. PBC, Sean Porter, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'll leave the link in the description. You guys check it out. Jermall Charlo also posted this on his story as well. This was what Oscar De La Hoya was saying. So just to give you guys a larger version of it, De La Hoya says, hey, guys, finalizing Charlo versus Munguia is a top priority. Golden Boy remains committed to our partner with DAZN, and it says DAZN Boxing, they do understand that magnitude of this fight and is willing and able to collaborate with Showtime Sports to get this done. I hope Showtime is on board. In the words of the great Hove, it's your boy Hove, it's perfect. Politics as usual. This is what makes boxing a very, very hard sport for new fans to embrace, because new fans ain't gonna put up with it, and get hyped up for fights and then they don't happen. As you see on my Instagram, make sure you guys follow me. I was ready. I was already promoting the fight, and the fans was hyped up in the comment section. But now, politics as usual. I gotta call, my opinion, I gotta call cap on Oscar De La Hoya. So let's let the cat out the bag. My sources say that this was more of a Golden Boy issue. So to my understanding, Zanfer, you got to keep in mind, some fighters have they have two promoters, technically, co-promoters. So like Usyk has his own team, I think it's K2 or whatever, but then he also worked with Eddie Hearn for some fights, right? Same thing with Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia was Jaime Munguia before De La Hoya, right? So he was fighting out of Mexico. And to my understanding, Zanfer Promotions is his promoter, right? And Golden Boy is his kind of like his U.S. broadcast, similar to Tyson Fury, if you will. Tyson Fury has Queensberry Promotions in the UK, but then he also works with Bob Arum in the USA. Similar deal. Got a guy out of Mexico, and he had a Mexican company, promoting him. And then Golden Boy, they say, hey, we got more reach in America, so he has this joint venture. So the problem is not with Jaime Munguia per se. To my understanding, Zanfer Promotions, they were liking the deal points and the money and talking it over. But then when it got more to Golden Boy approval, Golden Boy was like, nah. And then now they've created this fracas and, exit strategy and say, hey, DAZN got to be involved. But the funny thing is, old media continually tells you that Al Haymon, a black advisor, and PBC, his company, is the worst thing in boxing. This is what they continue. They say they called him the Black Hitler. They called him a cancer of boxing. All these various nefarious things and bad words and names, right? And they also, like, old media says stuff like, oh, he won't let his fighters fight. He only wants his fighters to win and cherry pick fights and things like that. But this is not my opinion. Historically, look it up. Al Haymon has released more of his fighters than pretty much anybody else out of the main stable of promoters. What do I mean? Danny Jacobs. So Danny Jacobs could be in awesome fights right now with Charlo, or they could have already happened at this point. He allowed him to work with Eddie Hearn, right? Amir Khan was with Al Haymon when he fought Canelo Alvarez. So Amir Khan, he could have said, bro, I already knew Amir Khan was finna get slaughtered by Canelo. Canelo too big, too strong, too good, right? So I already knew that was gonna be the case. So Al Haymon didn't have to release Amir Khan to get slaughtered by Canelo. And he was out, right? So on and so forth. Sean Porter, his last fight of his career, he just fought Terrence Crawford, and he fought him where? Not a joint venture, but he fought him on Top Rank ESPN, and they were under the helm of the whole project. So Steven Espinoza posted this, right? So the reporter says PBC has allowed its own title challengers to compete on other platforms numerous times in the past. Most recently, Sean Porter fought Terrence Crawford at ESPN, which is what I said. Andy Ruiz fought Joshua twice on DAZN, right? And then Steven Espinoza, who has an announcement next week, so stay tuned to the channel for that, says here's a critical distinction. Top Rank made the offer and paid for Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter, so the fight was on Top Rank's network, ESPN. Rematch Room made the offer, bid, and paid for Joshua Ruiz, so the fight was on Matchroom's platform, DAZN. TGB Promotions, which works in conjunction with PBC fights and Showtime and Fox, TGB made the offer / pays for Charlo Munguia, so TGB should choose, or they get to choose, they choose the network, which is Showtime, the preferred network of the PBC, Fox or Showtime. So this is cap from Oscar De La Hoya. Just say you don't want to make the fight, because I like Jaime Munguia. He's cool, but at the end of the day, I don't think he'd be the favorite. You know, it would be a great fight, but I don't think he'll be the favorite. So with that being said, with him not being the favorite, that'll be another golden boy person that they're trying to build that loses. You got to ask yourself at this point, if all of what I've said in this video is not true, which I know it is, right? Ask yourself this, and I'll leave you with these thoughts. Look for common denominators. How come this keeps happening with Golden Boy, right? Now it's like, oh, DAZN. And I'm gonna make a separate video, because DAZN, what do they offer to Showtime? Showtime could do their own pay-per-views, which has been the case without DAZN. So what do they need DAZN for? Lousy commentary? You know, do they need help with the production? They don't really need them for anything. So I wouldn't do a joint. That's like a YouTube channel and they want to work with me, and you know, you could say, oh, Ego, you're petty or you're rude. If a YouTube channel has 500 subs and they don't do quality work, then guess what? I don't need them. What benefit? There's an old military acronym, WIFM. What's in it for me? Period. What does Showtime need DAZN for? The fighters want to fight. He's going to be compensated. It's a great fight, and it's a title shot, and it'll be on pay-per-view. So you're really holding your own fighter back by not allowing Munguia, who's never been in a fight with a guy like Charlo, never been on pay-per-view, and won't probably be on pay-per-view unless he were to fight Canelo, which I don't see happening, on DAZN platform. So you got him trapped on the app. Showtime's willing to pony up and put the money up. The fans want to fight. So to me, Golden Boy is the problem. DAZN, Golden Boy, the problem. Showtime don't need him. Just like Terrence Crawford, he got Showtime Sean Porter on ESPN. Same concept. Top Rank put the money up. They were in charge of the project and promoting it. And PBC, they could have, if they wanted to, PBC could have been like, oh, we want in and we need to help you with that. But that's usually reserved for mega fights like Mayweather Pacquiao. Okay, there's no one's going to be cut out of that particular fight, but Showtime, you know, they're down to make the fight. It's a great fight. It's just a shame that these politics keep getting in the way. And my boy Kamal Oz, I got to give him a shout out. Shout out to Kamal Oz, regular supporter on the channel, Eagles Army for show. He said this, and I thought the fight was going to happen. You know, maybe there's a chance it still happens, but Kamal Oz said, nah, I doubt this happens. And I was like, nah, I don't know. I got some good authority saying that it looks good. But then in comes Golden Boy with this, you know. It's just sad. You're holding your fighter back from a pay-per-view to try to include DAZN. I don't think that, like, and if you really think about what's good for boxing, do you guys let me know in the comment section. You as fans, if Showtime said, hey, we're going to put this up for $75, if you like the fight, buy it. Do you care if it was on DAZN? Or if it was on Showtime, if it's a good fight that you're getting that you want to see? Absolutely not. So politics as usual, as I stated, this, my friend, is the problem with boxing. And, you know, Golden Boy just kind of screwed this up. And they're like, oh, Showtime's on board. Why did Showtime send Sean Porter to fight Terrence Crawford then? You know what I mean? The ultimate thing is, I think it's deeper than that. I think De La Hoya, he knows this is a dangerous fight for Jaime Munguia, and he don't want to move him like that. Beyond that, like I said, or was going to say, look for common denominators. Ryan Garcia, all this woofing and saying that Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a C+ guy and he's horrible and all that. And I told you that fight wasn't going to happen. And then look, why does this keep happening with Golden Boy, bro? Devin Haney wanted to fight Joseph Jojo Diaz. And initially, De La Hoya was like, no, who is Devin Haney? Who's heard of Devin Haney? And all these other excuses. So these are the fights. Golden Boy, they just don't want to make the fight. You know what I mean? Their stable's not big enough. They don't want to take a potential loss or lose any of their star players. So, you know, it's just unfortunate because you shouldn't hold your fighter back. Anyway, I'll wrap it up there. That is why Charlo Munguia looks bleak at the moment. Hopefully something comes around and they can get the deal done. But Showtime doesn't need DAZN. Y'all know that. Leave me a comment. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description, customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.